be too expensive. We're staying at room 13. Usually airy and usually very, and that's just how my life goes. And I don't ever try to dress to impress. Fuck you, preppy asshole. On the 14th floor where the bathroom door don't lie. So happy we don't gotta worry about the cops. We could all get arrested for this, but when the 40th hits, I don't give a shit tonight. Alright. She walks in the bedroom fast, despite all the noise from the crowd. Now she's bedless on the bathroom sink. Her mother would be so proud. Gets on the deed and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war zone.
Welcome in to episode 29 of Phired Up, presented by the Belly Up Podcast Network. Check them out at bellyupsports.com. My name is Mike Gilletto. Joining me, as usual, every week is Dom Console. Dom, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. You know, it was a fun week of football, except not really. The one takeaway I had from this weekend of football, and I tweeted it out, is it seems like the quality of the NFL sucks this year. Like, just from team 1 to team 32, no matter what team, they all suck.
Okay, I saw your tweet, but I wanted to wait until the show to kind of talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
In what sense? Specify.
They all suck.
In what terms though?
The product of the field I don't think is good. Like, one, you had the fucking Buffalo Bills lose to the Jaguars. They're supposed to be like the top team in the league. They lose to one of the worst franchises in the history of sports.
Any given Sunday.
Kansas City, it stinks. They're supposed to be like a top offense ever. They stink. Just no matter what team 1 to team 32, they all suck. Just every single one of them.
Hey, that's fair. I didn't know exactly what you meant there, but I did want to save it for the show. Going back to that Jaguars game, it's crazy. It's like it's kind of like, and you know my love for scoregami. I think everybody does.
Yep.
But it's kind of in that same realm of scoregami where for the first time ever in that Jags game, the same player, a defensive player and a quarterback shared the same name, and it was like the first time ever somebody picked off a quarterback sharing the same name, and it was just he sacked him, recovered a fumble, and he picked him off.
Right, I think it was the second time ever where a defensive player with the same name sacked the quarterback with the same name.
Okay.
That was like the second time ever. I think it happened maybe in the 60s, 70s, 80s, around there.
Yeah, and then I think it's the first time ever somebody picked them off.
It
was a pit. Yeah, it was a pit.
That dude had a monster. Josh Allen, not the quarterback, had a monster game that game.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch much of it, but because it was a slot fest.
It was a dreadful game.
Yeah. But yeah, I see what you're saying there. I mean, I just wasn't sure exactly what you meant.
Every team sucks. There's no great team. Every team sucks.
Okay, that's fair.
That's kind of my takeaway just from watching the NFL this weekend.
Okay.
But how was your weekend? Didn't do anything fun?
Chaos.
Chaos.
Yeah. Just preparing for the wedding.
The countdown's finally on. It's less than a month away.
Hey man, it's when I signed those papers, it's been a countdown.
That's true.
So
that is true.
Yeah, we're a few weeks away. So it's just pure chaos getting ready. So yeah.
Okay. Let's get into the Eagles game then. I mean, I feel like there's a lot to talk about with this game. They lose to the Chargers 27-24, moved to 3-6. A lot of stuff to get into with this game. I mean, I thought the offense, for what it is, looked better than, for the most part. I mean, as soon as you start running the ball, like the first drive, or the first two drives, I think they threw 6 of the first 7 plays, or 6 of the first 8, and they couldn't get anything, done. And then they finally They finally run the ball, and then in the third drive, they run the ball pretty much the whole entire length down the field, and then they score.
Right.
Go figure. You run the ball, you're going to score with his offense because Jalen Hurts isn't the quarterback that can just sit back there and just chuck the ball up every down.
Right. He's just a game manager.
Right. Exactly. So.
Like you said, starting 6 of the 7 plays throwing the ball. Michael, congratulations on signing your last play, Don. Yeah. But anyway, I just, especially coming off of last week, you would think that they would run the ball a lot more starting off the game, and I will give them credit because they did eventually get back into that. I think by halftime it was like 19 carries for Boston Scott and Jordan Howard, combined.
Yep.
So I think it was like 12 for Howard and 7 for Scott, but yeah, I think it was that second drive that the last throwing play of those 7 or 6 of the 7, it was on the 1, and they threw the ball on the first play.
Right.
Like it doesn't make sense, and they went 3 and out on that drive. But yeah, I don't know, man. I can't get in this guy's head, especially coming off of what last week. And I understand Detroit stinks, but like you're going up against the worst running offense in the league. You think they'd start the game off more with more runs,
right? And then on the third drive, you finally do it. I believe it was the third drive. And then you get down to the goal line and you do what people have been asking you to do, right? You run the ball, first and goal, run to Scott. Second goal, run to Scott. I wouldn't have used him in that opportunities, but at least you're running the ball. Then third down, they finally give the ball to Jordan Howard, and then they punch it in on the touchdown there. So I think the offense, the fact that they're running the ball more is encouraging. I want to talk about the defense though, because was it the first drive of the game for the Chargers? It was the first drive of the game, I believe, right, where the Chargers went 98 yards down the field and didn't score, which is the first time that's happened in the NFL since 2002.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you work for Scorigami? Like
apparently
spitting these facts.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're like, oh man, you're like Reuben Frank over here.
Well, first off, Eric, get out of here with that Cowboys talk.
Yeah, they went from the 1 to the 1 and didn't score, and I even said to myself when they were they were in the red zone on the 1 that they have to go for it because they're better than the Eagles.
Absolutely.
And I kind of figured that they figured that eventually the Eagles are going to start running the ball, and they're the worst run defense in the league, so why not go for it on 4th down? We can win this game, even on the road. That being said, the Eagles are, 0-4 at home this year?
Yep.
And it doesn't matter how good or bad teams are, you always want to win the home games, and it's just not happening.
Right.
So.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, and then again, just defense. Jonathan Gannon is, I feel like, kind of public enemy number 1 at this point, right? What's going on with the defense, because they can't really stop anybody. And even, I guess we can fast forward to the end of the game where you have a chance to get a critical stop where maybe a stop right around midfield, right around the 40-yard line could have helped win the game, and then you just don't get a stop. I think they ran the ball like 12 yards, or maybe it was a passing play. I don't remember. It was
like 16, yeah.
Yeah. And then that kind of seals the game for them a little bit, but just the defense just doesn't get a stop when they need it.
Right. And before I go into Gannon a little bit here, I kind of want to go to that last drive of the game. Obviously, people are talking about, if you let him score, you have 2 minutes left to go downfield and win you a game. But do we really trust Jalen Hurts to do that?
No. But like I don't love
run the ball.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I don't love the mentality of let him score. Like, that's just such a loser mentality, personally. Like I get sometimes that has its benefit. Right. But when a team's at midfield, I want you to try to stop the team from kicking the field goal.
Exactly. I completely agree. If they're on the 20, if they're in the red zone, it's way different.
It's a lot different of a scenario, right? And they didn't get down there until really the final play of the drive, really. The last play before the field goal, yeah. Exactly. So they didn't get down there until then. Right. So yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that idea at all.
It's just something I saw floating around. What are you going to let him go 50, 60 yards?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, you definitely want to try to see them stop the Chargers there, use the timeouts and everything like that. But Go and let's dive into Gannon a little bit here.
Okay.
I think that guy should not even. I don't even think he should coach Pee Wee football.
Okay.
I don't even. I want to trash the guy, but like I don't. I'm so frustrated with this defense. I don't even know how to trash him. I wouldn't even know what to say.
Right.
So I don't know how. I don't know how. So okay. So the one thing I've said about Sirianni all year was he doesn't seem stubborn, right? Last week he learned if you run the ball, you get the defense stacks the box with 8 and you throw the ball, right?
It opens things up, right?
Right. So we saw that this week. He stuck to the run, even though it took a couple drives. He stuck to the run. Why doesn't Gannon learn that? Why is Gannon still running this soft zone defense? Like, just get 10 yards. Just get 10 yards. Give them 10 yards. Keenan Allen destroyed them. And I understand he's a top receiver in this league, but like, man, it's so frustrating that like we still have guys that just don't know how to make adjustments. Coaches that don't know how to make adjustments.
Right, and that strategy can work situationally, but like I don't want your whole entire game plan revolved around that strategy.
What do you mean?
The bend but don't break mentality.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Like situationally, it can make sense.
The soft zone defense, I'm fine with in certain situations. Like, maybe don't run it 90% of the time is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying blitz every time either, but you've got guys on this defense. Derek Barnett, who I know, he's not very liked in the city very much, but Derek Barnett and Josh Sweat, who rush the quarterback. That's what they do. And, like, why can't we – you don't have Brandon Graham, who's really good at stopping the run. So, like, why can't we, use the positives of these guys, the strengths of these guys. That's the word I'm looking for. But the strengths of these guys, rush the quarterback. Can we at least blitz once?
Right. Exactly. So, and it comes down to, undisciplined play. Like, I mean, Barnett – has I think 4 penalties this year and only 1 sack. I mean, he hasn't been good at all, and he's undisciplined. So I don't know what their plan with him is moving forward, but you still need to see more from Fletcher Cox. Even though I don't think he looked bad on Sunday, but
I didn't really notice him.
Yeah, you didn't really notice him. Which is kind of really the story of the last couple of years, Fletcher.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just and you know what, I am a big fan of Darius Slay. I think he is a top 10, 15 corner in the league, right?
Okay, yeah.
I don't understand the hate that he's getting. Obviously, he didn't have a good game. He left early, but like this guy has had, he's been here for what, 16 games last year, and what are we at, week 9? I don't even know what that math is off the top of my head because again, I'm not a math guy, but
right.
a season and a half here, and he's had 2 bad games other than this game. Like it's been 3 bad games in a year and a half, and like I just think this guy is getting so much just negative just negative thoughts and negative vibes. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like,
well, but probably because he other than what game was it where he had the 2 interceptions? Was that
Carolina?
Okay, other than the Carolina game, he hasn't really made any flashy plays where he's turning the ball over. So I feel like people just don't really notice him as much.
But it's hard to turn over the ball when people don't throw your way.
Right, for sure. I'm just saying that I think that's why people aren't praising him as much, because his name's just not out there, because he just kind of quietly does his thing, whereas he's not as flashy. But that's
just as good, to me.
Yeah,
I mean, this defense isn't about – this defense hasn't been run, even under Schwartz, to turn the ball over. Like, it's just not what they do. And, like, as much as I would like to see it, just like the next person – I mean, it's just as good if he's not picking the ball off. It's just as good to not hear his name. Like he's going up against some of the best receivers in the league, holding them for 2 catches for 20 yards. Like game after game. And like I said, he's had 2 bad games other than this game against 2 top 5, top 7 receivers. Yep. Devontae Adams, who last year is the best receiver in the league, and last year against DK, who is probably a top 5. He's probably the most exciting receiver in the league this year. So
yeah,
I don't understand the hate. I don't. I like the guy a lot, and I like the player a lot, and these people want to complain about Darius Slay, but like look who's the last good cornerback the Eagles had? Asante Samuel. You know what I'm saying? He's the last great cornerback. I'm not calling Slay great, but like Like we've gone through like Fletcher and
Absolute slop.
yeah, Carrie
Yeah.
Williams and Byron Maxwell and Ronald Darby, like, and the list just goes on, and like, can we? Okay, in 16 or season and a half, 16 last year and 9 this year, he's had 3 bad games. I mean,
Right.
you know, I bet you all those guys that I just named had 3 good games in a year and a half.
Right.
So if that,
Right, and he's only had 3 bad games in a system that really allows you to give up a lot of yards.
right? That's what I'm saying. And they don't turn the ball. Like the system just doesn't turn the ball over. Like it's
Right.
just not what they do. And I think if he's not picking the ball off, if he's not turning the ball over, which obviously, like I said, ideally we want to see. The next best thing to do is to shut down guys, and for a fact, he's shutting guys down. I don't care what anybody says, he is.
Right. I'm curious if he plays better and forces more turnovers and everything if they have competent linebackers. Like I feel like he's probably cheating a little bit maybe in certain scenarios because he knows his linebacking course stinks.
Right, and it's that, and it's the safety stink, and it's really hard to pick the ball up when you're playing a soft zone coverage every freaking play. Like
Right.
they don't blitz. That's the thing is the defensive line doesn't blitz, so like the quarterback's not getting the ball out of his hand. It goes a lot to hockey. I saw your tweet about Ristolainen, and I forget who it was. Somebody tweeted something, and you said, I think you said something along the lines of, you can really tell how people who have never played the game.
Oh, yeah, I forget what tweet that was, but
So,
yeah.
Long
I'll try
story
to
short,
find it.
Ristolainen, you know,
We're going to hockey already.
No, I know. But just because he, you know, the thought of him being out there making the play, it makes the other player that's getting hit make the wrong pass. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the...
So it kind of goes the same way with football, where like if you're rushing the quarterback and you can get pressure on him, he might make the wrong decision. And guess what? A top corner like Darius Slay can pick the ball off. Like that's what happened in the Carolina game.
All right, I did find the tweet about Ristolainen. Do you want me to read it or you want to save it till hockey talk?
No, fuck it. Let's do it.
All right. So it was a tweet from Charlie O'Connor, who's the beat writer
Right.
for the Flyers. Says, I get the hard to play against thing with Ristolainen. I do. I just wish more of his hits, actually led to changes of possession because so many of them are followed by more time in the D zone. So that was quote tweeted by somebody saying, it's hard to explain, but if you know that you're going to get hit hard every time you're out there with someone that affects things as the game progresses, you make quicker and often wrong passes because no one likes getting stapled to the boards. So that's when I reply. Sometimes it's really easy to tell who never played the game.
Right. And like I've never played hockey. Like I've played hockey, but I've never played like ice hockey. I've never put on pads and played football. Like, but I've watched the game and I understand that. And like it's just like in hockey. It's the same thing in football where like if you get enough pressure on the guy, he's going to make the wrong decision. Just like you said with Ristolainen, or that quote he said about Ristolainen.
Yep.
If you are a threat and you make a quick decision, they're going to make a quick decision, and sometimes it's the wrong decision.
Absolutely.
So
It's about getting pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't do it.
Right.
And
think that
I
really
don't
hurts
I don't
the
know if
story.
that's a scheme. It might be a combination. Like I don't know if that's a scheme thing or if that's just the players not getting the pressure for whatever reason.
If you're rushing 4 all the time, I think it's a scheme thing, right?
It can be, but if Fletcher Cox is getting paid to be one of the best linemen in the league, like you need more pressure. Like he should be able to get pressure whether there's a blitz or not.
Right, but it's
Maybe
really
not
hard
every
to-
down,
I was gonna
but
say it's really hard to do that for 60
no,
plays a game,
for
70
sure.
plays a game
Yeah.
when you're only doing one thing. Like if they were rushing half the time or even a quarter of the time, more than 4 guys, okay, I would understand that, but like they're not.
right.
Other than Detroit, like they're just not. And we saw it last year too, and Schwartz started to send blitzes. It started to work, and you get turnovers,
Right.
and they just don't do it.
No, they do not. Is there anything else with the defense that you saw? Because I did want to talk about the offense a little bit more.
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
Thank God.
Right. So back to Jalen Hurts. Did you see anything from him that maybe you liked, didn't like? I still don't think this offense can necessarily run around him because as soon as they started running the ball, they started having more success. But it's funny. So I was taking notes during the game, and these are the 2 things that I have written down about Jalen Hurts. 1, relying on his legs a lot. Number 2, This is quote. I swear, quote word for word. Still doesn't have a fucking arm. Is what I wrote in my notes.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's got to buy one, but like, my thing with okay. Let's dissect the leg part a little bit here. Relies on his legs a lot. How many times have you seen this year Jalen Hurts run out of the pocket when there's not a lot of pressure?
Right.
It
happens a lot.
It's all the time.
Yep.
Like what was it? The first or second drive he missed Goddard for the touchdown.
Was it Goddard? Because I know it might be the same drive. He also missed at the end of the first half. He missed Smith. That was pretty wide open.
I thought that was
as
the
well.
end of the game.
That was the end of the that was the end of the first half.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was his first or second drive. He missed Goddard wide open.
Okay.
If you see, he sits in the pocket and he takes a little bit of a hit, but like I want to see more of that. You know what I'm saying? I know he missed the throw. I get that, but like I want to see more of the guy sitting in the pocket, making the throw and taking the hit. Like I just don't like a guy. Like, and I what am I trying to say here? I like a guy that can use his legs to get out of sticky situations. You know what I'm saying?
A la Russell Wilson. Like,
correct.
Yeah.
But I just think he does it way too often. Way
too early. And listen, I get it. He's athletic, and he's got the athletic ability to use his legs to his advantage, and
right.
that's really that's his game. I get that, but not every single don't make that your absolute go-to every single time. Stand in the pocket, see what's there,
right.
and use that as the last resort.
And real quick, I kind of want to not dissect that play a little bit, but the Goddard, where he delivered, where he got the hit and he tried to deliver the throw.
Right.
I'm going to ask you a question, okay?
Okay.
So, on a scale from, let's say, terrible to very bad to like neutral to good, very good, great. You know what I'm saying? On a scale like that, okay? Yeah. I'm going to give you like three quarterback names, okay? You tell me where they fit on that scale. Okay. Let's go with Matthew Stafford.
Slightly above average.
Okay, so good.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Where do you fit? Let's say Jared Goff.
Slightly below average.
Okay, so. Okay, so bad.
Yeah.
So somewhere around that bad average part. Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. And I'm talking about these guys in their primes, like not currently, but like just in their overall in their primes. Okay.
I'd argue Jared Goff's in his prime right now, but
Well, that's what I'm saying. But even Stafford, like
right.
Stafford's probably playing the best he is right now, anyway. But
right.
Matt Ryan.
Over his career, average. I would say.
All three of those guys make that throw and they get hit.
Yeah. True.
And where does Jalen Hurts fit?
Right.
Average, bad, somewhere around there, right?
Yeah, right now, probably average to bad. Yeah, I would say that.
I mean, you could do that for any quarterback though, like Joe Flacco.
Right.
I mean, he's probably a little bit better than that average. I
don't know about that.
I think he's in between good and very good over his career. Sure.
I don't know. He had like 2 good years.
I wouldn't say 2 good years. But he
had they relied. I mean, those defenses were really good. The ones that
sure.
were in the Super Bowl and all that.
But he still made big throws in big
for
situations.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Eli, where does Eli fit?
Regular season slightly below average. Playoffs above average.
Regular season Eli and postseason Eli, both make that throw.
Sure. Yeah.
They sit in the pocket and they make that throw.
Right.
So
But what they're going to try to sell you is Hurts has the athletic ability that maybe a Flacco, a Manning, those guys didn't have, and that's what quote unquote separates him from the other guys.
Okay,
and
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, I don't think he ever makes the best decisions, but the dude has an absolute cannon on him. Like he just does.
Well, I'm saying, does he make those throws?
Yeah, he
sure.
can. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Russell Wilson. I mean, I know Russell Wilson's obviously not around that neutral
an elite
area,
elite.
But like, I just these are guys like when you watch Jackson, like he doesn't run out of the pocket as much as and throw the ball. You know what I'm saying? He sits in the pocket and throws the ball, or he runs the ball. There's not there are times where he runs out of the pocket and throws the ball, obviously, but like it's not every play like Jalen Hurts.
Does Dak make that throw?
Absolutely.
You think so? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
fair enough. Okay.
Nick Foles makes that throw.
Yep.
Guys that have been career average guys, like, and I think Dak on the scale is somewhere between good and very good.
Yeah, my opinion on Dak is I think he's better than the Philly fan base wants to believe he is.
Oh, absolutely.
But I don't think he's as good as the national media makes him out to be.
I think I think
he's somewhere in between.
Do you think he can win a Super Bowl? Like, do you
Sure,
think he can
yeah,
carry
sure
a
he
team?
can.
He, what, let me
carry team?
Right.
I don't know. I think everything needs to be perfect, and when that offense is going, they have the 3 great wide receivers. When Zeke is a top 5 running back, their offensive line's a top 5 offensive line. Sure, they can win a Super Bowl.
Okay,
yeah, with him, absolutely.
Do you think that Dak can take a team to the playoffs on his back?
Sure, yeah, I'll give him that.
Okay, do you think take the Super Bowl away from that against New England in 2004, 2005.
Okay.
Take all the rest of the success of the Philadelphia Eagles, right, from that era. Okay. Is that success?
You talk about the Andy Reid conference championship years I guess that's success. I mean, you didn't win the ultimate.
No, you didn't, but it's success,
prize,
right?
But sure, yeah.
I would take Dak. I think Dak could win you a couple playoff games years in a row. So I mean that's my opinion on Dak. I mean, he can win a Super Bowl with the right team.
Right.
I think he's better than people, like you said, around this area and these fans give him. But
because he's a Cowboy, so I mean you're gonna get that.
Right. If he was a an Arizona Cardinal, like he would be good. Like people would think he's good, but like
exactly.
No, I completely agree. But I just going back to Jalen Hurts, I want a guy, ideally, to sit in the pocket, throw a football, take a hit, but also at the right time run out of the pocket, make a play. You know what I'm saying? I just think he does
when
it
you
too
need
much.
to. Yeah.
Right.
When you need, he just relies on it way too much.
I agree.
So.
And he runs out of, again, he runs out of situations where there's not enough pressure to run out of the situation. So.
Right. Sticking with the offensive side, you did finally get the nice big breakout game from Devontae Smith. 5 catches, 116 yards, a touchdown. He looked good.
It's his second 100-yard game.
That is true.
Year.
Yeah, he had one against Kansas City. I mean, it's Kansas City's.
Right.
Kansas City defense stinks.
Right.
So take that for what it is. That
And
game. 7 catches, 122 yards, but
the Chargers game or the Chargers corners were. I think their starting corners were out. So like,
were that?
I mean,
Yeah, that's
you
true.
think, but he's on pace to have
still.
over 1,000 yards. On pace to only have 4 touchdowns, but like 83 catches I saw today.
Right.
So I mean, again, this
Granted,
kid,
those numbers are a little inflated because you have one extra game this year.
Right. That's true. But even that, I mean, how many rookie receivers get 1,000 yards?
Yeah,
anymore?
for sure.
Not anymore, but just in general.
Right.
I would gladly sign me up for 83 and a little under 1,100 yards.
Exactly.
But I think he's gotten a lot of unwanted and negative views this year too. Like,
why do you think that is?
Because they don't throw the ball down the field.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
I just don't think he's not the type of receiver that's going to run screens and obviously he's not going to run Deshaun Jackson.
No,
bomb.
he's not that fast. Like that.
Right.
That's one of the big misconceptions about Devontae Smith is the draft experts weren't saying it, but for some reason it trickled down to like the fan level where people thought this guy had blazing speed, and that's just not him. It's not his game.
But you don't need blazing speed to be fast. If you have enough, look at Devontae Adams.
Well, I think there's a
Adams
difference.
Fast,
Well, I think there's a difference. Right. There's a difference between being quick and being fast.
Okay.
I think Smith has the capability to be quick, not fast.
Okay.
Like just with
I
his
agree with that.
footwork and
I agree with
his
that,
ability to get open.
But running deep is not just about running fast. That's what I'm saying. Like
Right.
Devontae Adams is not fast. DK. Oh, I guess DK is fucking a cheetah. But I'm trying to think of another guy off the top of my head, like a top. DeAndre Hopkins isn't fast. They just
Right.
have good footwork, and obviously they're both bigger than.
I was just about to
Smith.
say those two guys have one thing on Smith, and that's size.
Right, but I'm not looking for the 60-yard bomb. I'm just looking for that 20-yard slant. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, even the slants. I mean, how many times have you seen Smith open on those slants and Hurts throws it 5 yards behind him?
or doesn't throw to him,
Or that.
because he's afraid to throw down the field.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating, and I don't remember if I said it on the show recently, but I did tell somebody I think Quez Watkins can be so good, but they just don't have an offense that suits his abilities. I believe I did say it like 2 weeks ago.
You probably did. That sounds familiar. Because, he has the blazing speed where he can get down the field, but Jalen Hurts can't hit him
Right.
60 yards down the field. He just can't.
And don't even get me started about Rager. I've been a supporter of Rager. I think he flat out stinks. I do. I think it's
Who has more value to this team? Jalen Rager or JJ Arcega-Whiteside?
I know you want me to say JJ Arcega-Whiteside, but it is Rager because he does get on the field.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm sorry, I just shot that down for you.
You did. Well, the only reason I was saying that is because I know JJ actually has some sort of value when it comes to blocking. That's really the only part of his game that he can do well. Whereas Rager right now just all around isn't very productive.
I think Rager's good enough for those slant,
Right.
or those 5-yard slants or the screen game, but you can't run that too much. You have to eventually throw the ball down the field, and he just doesn't do that. And I mean, and there were a couple times this year early in the season. I think it was the San Fran game. He did get open down the sideline and he stepped out of bounds.
Right.
And they called the penalty. They brought the touchdown back. But
Yep.
I think that happened twice this year, where he was open up in the corner of the end zone, or the what's it called?
The end zone?
The cone.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right in the front of the end zone, and the play fails. So
Right. That's just discipline and just smarts at that point.
Yeah.
If you're one time, okay, it happens. When you're doing it multiple times, there's an issue going on there.
right.
So
And obviously there was officiating problems with that. It should have been illegal contact. But anyway, the
thanks,
pylon.
Michael.
There
It's
you
a
go.
pylon.
Yep. Football guys here.
We are, yeah. It's been a long.
Sorry.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long. It was a long weekend. It's been a long day for both of us.
Yeah.
I got a million things on my mind. I appreciate you though, Michael.
Right. All right. So you ready to move on to against the spread?
Dude, he just said pylon.
That's
He
it.
didn't even say,
Pylon.
"Hey guys, it's called pylon." There you go. Again, pylon. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So I had a rough week. I went 1-4. You went 2-3. So that brings our totals to I am 20-25. You're 21-24.
Okay.
So
All right.
I'll let you do the honors of going first here.
Okay. All right. So the first game I got the Falcons +9 at the Cowboys. I don't know why. I just have a feeling that it's going to be closer than 9 points. So.
Okay. It's I mean that goes into another when I opened the show about how all NFL teams stink, like the Cowboys getting blown out to Denver doesn't make any sense. You said that Falcons plus 9.5, right?
+9.5. Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's a big line.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Saints and Titans. Now the Titans are feeling themselves. They're on a 4-game winning streak.
Right.
They beat a good Rams team last night, but I'm still gonna take the Titans -3 to the Saints.
I got the same thing.
Titans -3.
Yep. I like it.
Okay.
The Saints don't have a quarterback, so
Right.
they need a Saint, literally.
Exactly. So I'm going the Bills and the Jets.
Okay.
Now the Bills just lost to the fucking Jaguars. They're gonna come out to play,
What's
and
that?
they're just
13.5.
30. I'm taking the Bills -13.5.
That's huge.
I think they're gonna be they're embarrassed that they just lost to the Jaguars.
Right.
They might put up 60 points.
Are they home?
No, it's in New York or Jersey, whatever you prefer.
Okay. Yeah, I looked at that. I didn't love it, but I got you. All right, my last game I got Rams -4 at the Niners.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I mean, coming off of a big loss, a big emotional loss, they're gonna come back hard.
for sure.
And then I have the Eagles and the Broncos. I got the Eagles +3.
Okay.
The Broncos' big win against Dallas. Yeah, I like the Eagles in that spot.
You think they win?
Yeah, I do actually.
Okay.
I do.
I mean, it's hard to cover plus.
Yeah, it is
within
+3.
3 points, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think they win.
Okay. I like it.
And I'm usually not an optimist.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I know that well.
That's true.
All right. So over unders, I got Seahawks at Packers. I got over 50.
Okay.
I think Russ is supposed to be back this week.
Is
right?
he?
I believe I saw something today that he might be back this week. So Russ is gonna cook.
He's gonna cook.
We're gonna watch the future Eagle put up
There you go.
some serious points this week.
Yeah. Well, I'll watch that closely then. I didn't know he was back.
I
That's
think
interesting.
I think I read that today.
I'm gonna stick with the Eagles and Broncos game, and I'm gonna go. This seems like a very low over under. I'm gonna go over 44.
Okay. That is pretty low.
Yeah.
Over 44. Okay. So I got the Lions at Steelers, and just exactly what you just said. I'm gonna go under 43.
Under
It's
43.
very low.
Okay.
So,
That is low. Like, I'll be honest, all the over-unders scared me this week. I didn't like really any of them. I'll be honest with you.
right. And kind of to go back what you started off the show with, like what you opened up with, it just hasn't been a great year this year.
No.
And it's so. I mean, I know the Any Given Sunday is every year for every football game, college, high school, NFL, whatever.
It seems more random now than ever.
Yeah, exactly. It's even with this week 10.
Yep.
We're going into
week 10.
We're
Yep.
still clueless.
I know.
Anything can happen.
Seriously. All right, my last over/under. I'm gonna go the Rams Niners over 49.5.
Okay, I looked at that.
Okay.
But obviously I took the spread. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I think that's going to be a high scoring game.
Right. Exactly.
I think the Rams just take a shit on the Niners, so I think most of it's going to come from them.
Probably, I would say so. So did you want to touch on this Henry Ruggs stuff? I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a sad story. Obviously, you just gotta be smarter. Obviously, if you haven't heard by now, Henry Ruggs drunk driving, 156 mile an hour. I think impact he was like 125 or 130.
Right.
Girl lost her life, 23 years old, I think she was. Just a brutal, tragic. I don't even know if I could call it accident because you're driving 160 miles an hour. You know what the fuck you're doing. I don't care how drunk you are. It's just a sad incident.
Yeah, for sure. And I just think, just in general, driving drunk, I just think that today there are so many options, especially when you have money.
Especially when you're on an NFL roster and the NFL gives it to you.
Right.
Like every NFL
whether
player.
the NFL gives it to you.
Right.
I'm saying whether he uses that, whether he uses his own personal shit, whether he calls an Uber, whether he has somebody sober that he's with, like.
I heard that his fiance or girlfriend was in the car with him and she was sober.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah,
That's really horrible.
Yep.
And that's the thing is if you decide to drive drunk, whether you're Henry Ruggs or Joe Schmell, you're just risking not only your life but so many other people's lives, and it's just kind of a really shitty thing. And
right.
There's no excuse anymore today.
No, there really
excuse.
isn't.
It's 2021.
And yeah, and he's facing, I don't know how much he's gonna get, but he's facing up to like 26 years in prison, for two different charges. But
he's 23 years old.
Right.
Oh, 22 years old, right? 22.
Right around there, 22, 23.
Yeah. So, and obviously you make a lot of mistakes when you're young, and he made a mistake, obviously, but he's also at that age where he should know the difference. And
right.
Not only we could sit here and say, yeah, he ruined his life, he had everything, but he ruined somebody else's life and their family's
and
lives.
her family's lives, right? Exactly. Right. So, and the thing that's kind of real, and I guess there's really no easy way to segue this, is like the thing that's really pissing me off about this story is that people are making Aaron Rodgers to be a worse person than Henry Ruggs. Like you would think that Aaron Rodgers is a shittier person because of his stance on the vaccine than Henry Ruggs, who killed a person. I know I tweeted that out. It's just an awful situation all around. And I just haven't heard much buzz about not buzz, but I haven't heard much about the Henry Ruggs thing. And everybody's focusing their stuff on the Aaron Rodgers vaccination stance, and that just doesn't rub me the right way.
Just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
Sure, I'm sure it's there for sure.
I think that it's. I just think that the Aaron Rodgers thing is a lot. I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but I just
For
think
sure, it's
more,
tough.
I just think it's more of a not funny thing, but like I don't know if you saw
Ironic?
SNL.
I did not.
The SNL opening skit was Rodgers, like Pete Davidson dressed up as Rodgers, and they did the interview. You know, there's a joke to be made about it. There's a joke to be made about it, and I think that's why it's so much bigger. Or, more on the news than the Ruggs thing, because
It's a lot less dark, I guess.
yeah, and it's I think 98% of the population could say Henry Ruggs was wrong, as
Right.
where half of the population says Aaron Rodgers is right, half says it's wrong. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah,
I think
it's more
one is-
divisive for sure.
It's one more political, one is more you're just a fucking idiot.
Right.
So, and obviously Ruggs is the idiot part, but
Right.
I just think there's more, like are we surprised that Rodgers kind of did it the way he did it, and look, I'm not, I don't want to get political, and personally, I'm not going to get political, but to me personally, if you want to make that decision to do it, then fine. If you don't, then fine. But like, there are ways to go about it, and I just think people are kind of, it's more not lighthearted because it's not lighthearted, but I just think people are looking at the Rodgers situation like there are so many different angles as well.
I don't think I'm not even sure people are mad that he's not vaccinated. I think people are upset because he misled the media when he was asked that question.
I don't think he misled. I think misled is the wrong word. He straight up lied.
I don't know if he necessarily lied.
He did come out and say. He did come out and say, I am vaccinated. I'm almost positive.
They asked him, "Are you vaccinated?" He says, "I'm immunized." I can't say the fucking word. Immunized.
Okay.
That's all he said. He said, "I'm immunized." He never said, "I'm vaccinated from COVID-19." He just said, "I'm immunized." If I even said that right. I'm not an English major here. You know, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So anyway,
not math guys either.
No, not math guys either. But that's probably that's why people I think are more pissed off than the fact that he's
Right.
not vaccinated. It's the fact that he misled, or if you want to use the word lied, sure. But like, can people stop pretending like Aaron Rodgers has never been an asshole? Like this is who he is.
Right.
He's
right.
just always.
We're
been
not surprised. Right.
Right. And he's just always been a lunatic. He's always been kind of a jerk off. So I'm not surprised at all.
I think that's why I'd be the most upset. And the reason, honestly, the biggest reason I am upset is because I had to start Jalen Hurts in fantasy over him, and they fucking finally decided to run the ball in the red zone. But yeah, I just think, you know, Rodgers is a quirky guy. He's a weird guy, and like just kind of the way he went about it.
Right.
You know, I think I agree. I think that's probably why people are upset. I just think like, look at a guy like Carson Wentz who came out and basically, in so many words, said he wasn't vaccinated, and like the whole world got upset that he wasn't vaccinated, and like, but he goes through the protocols every week to wear a mask and do whether you agree with the mask or not. That is what the protocols are. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the rules. So, like, you have to follow the rules. And I think, why are we getting upset about Carson Wentz, who's actually following the rules, where, like, if Rodgers isn't vaccinated, then he should have to follow the rules, no?
That's not on Aaron Rodgers. That's on the Green Bay Packers, who his coaches, his teammates, the organization knew his vaccination status. So if he's not following the protocols, that's on the organization, not Aaron Rodgers.
I think it's a little bit of both, no?
I mean, I would think...
Is it not an NFL rule?
It is. Yeah, it is. 100%.
Then why would it be the league?
What do you mean?
Why isn't the league at fault then?
Well, the league sends out a mandate for all teams to follow. Right. And if the Packers are... I mean, I guess it could trickle down to the league. But if the team isn't, you know, forcing him to go through the protocols, because they know his vaccination status, if the team's not, you know, forcing him to go through the protocols, that's on the team, if you ask me.
it's on everybody.
Sure.
if you ask
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. I guess.
I don't. It doesn't have to be one single party. I think it could be the team and him.
Right.
And again, I am whether you believe in what you believe in and what you don't believe in, whatever, there are rules to follow, and that's
For sure.
unfortunately is what it is. And
Right.
I just don't think it's very fair that other people have to follow the rules and he didn't.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, but it's somebody's at fault, and I mean, I guess maybe it is just a collection of Rodgers, the NFL, the Green Bay Packers. It's kind of all of them, I guess.
Right.
So, all right, let's move on. You say you have some trivia this week, right? Let's do
I
some
do.
trivia before we get into Sixers talk.
I sure do. All right, so we got a little bit of a theme here.
Okay.
It is it's picking a specific player. It's I guess we'll call it who is this player. I'm going to give you a question about a crazy stat, and you're going to give me the answer of who this player is from this wacky stat.
Okay.
This week I have 3 Flyers and 2 Phillies, and that's all I got. Because fuck the Eagles and fuck Ben Simmons.
All right, fair enough. Let's go with Flyers, I guess.
Okay, sorry about that little weird ass intro to the trivia. I was not prepared for it.
It's fine. You're good.
So you said Flyers?
Yeah, let's go Flyers.
Okay, all right.
Let me make sure I understand your rules, though. Just read the question, and I'll figure it out as we go.
Okay, so basically every question starts with this player.
Okay, all right, then we're good.
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
I gotcha.
So, okay, for the first question, this player scored 34 times on the power play. Not only the most of any Flyers skater, but the most in any NHL season by any player ever. Who is this Flyers player?
Tim Kerr.
Is that your final answer?
Yep.
We're starting off red hot, baby.
Red hot.
Little fun fact: Wayne Gretzky, the most talented goal scorer in the league history, never had more than 20 in a season.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
It's interesting.
Yep. All right, we're starting off hot.
There we go. 1 for 1 right off the bat.
This player had one of the best postseasons in team history, setting rookie records in assists with 14 and points with 21. Who is this Flyers player?
Was this Ville Lano?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
We're 2 for 2,
2
baby.
for
Let's
2.
go.
Dude, he was red hot in those
Yep.
playoffs. It was unreal watching him in those playoffs.
Of course, in 2010, for the Cup run.
Yeah.
That
I'm pretty
question-
sure he broke Gretzky. I think it was set by Gretzky, the rookie point.
think you might be
leader.
right.
And I think Lano broke it.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I had to take part of that question out because it said 09-10 season.
Okay.
So I didn't want to.
Right.
The
year wouldn't have even mattered. I've known that
Yeah.
stat.
All right, so last one for the Flyers. This player put together a 10-game goal streak in the postseason, tied for the longest in hockey history. Who is this Flyers player?
10-game. All right, you might have stumped me on this one. You don't have a year?
I do, but I can't give it to you.
Oh, that'll give it away.
It's not in our lifetime.
Oh, okay. I will. You know what? I'll go with Tim Kerr.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Nope, right before Tim Kerr. Tim Kerr was, I believe this guy actually was, he was a young player. I don't know if he was a rookie. He was in 1976. Reggie Leach.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. I don't know if I ever would have got him
Yeah.
for whatever reason, but okay.
Right.
All right. So far, 2 for 3.
2 for 3. Yep. All right, so we're going to Phillies. This player was hit by 188 pitches, almost double the next highest Philly, Mike Lieberthal. Who is this Philly? Now think about this a little bit here.
Sorry, was there a year? Did you say?
I
no?
can't give you the year.
Okay.
It was within the last 20 years.
So this Philly got hit 188 times in one season.
Yep, and it was almost double the next Philly, who was Mike Lieberthal. It was within the last 20 years.
Jason Worth.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
It is not Jason Worth. I wanted you to think about it a little bit because I feel like when I saw the answer, I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. It's Chase Utley.
Okay.
I think it was 08 or 09.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I was
maybe
thinking Worth because he's kind of the cocky. I mean, Chase Utley is too, but.
Right.
Yeah.
I might have been 07, but he got hurt halfway through the year. He broke his hand.
Right.
Halfway through the year, so I don't think it was 07. All right, last question. This player has the 4 seasons with the most strikeouts at the plate in Phillies history, with his top 2 or worst 2 showings at 199 strikeouts in consecutive seasons. Do you need me to read that again?
No, it's all right. It was a
Okay.
mouthful. Is this a trick question? I'm just gonna say Ryan Howard.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
It's correct. Ryan
Okay.
Howard.
There we go.
Yep. So 4 seasons with the most strikeouts at the plate in Phillies history, and 2 of them came in 08 and 09. So that was,
Right.
It's crazy that's their, their 2 best years of that run
Right.
with 199 strikeouts.
Michael's giving us a little on the fly trivia. What Philly holds the record for most stolen bases in a single season without being caught? Is that without being caught?
Would that just be a stolen base?
Well, he's saying without being caught at all in the year, I guess.
Oh, is it? Oh,
So you have the most amount of stolen bases without being caught in that year.
like consecutively?
No, I would just say, I'm a little confused about the question, but no, I wouldn't say it's consecutively. Like
You go,
So-
a whole 100
a whole season without being caught. The person who has the highest amount of stolen bases. I was
don't
my
know.
guess with the question. Rollins is my guess.
I would say
mean,
Richie Ashburn.
All right. Well, those are our 2 guesses. Michael, let us know if we're right. All right. So yeah, let's go to a little. Hold on. What's he saying? Yes, Dom. Single season without being picked off. So we don't have an answer yet. Chase Utley. There you go.
I'm still confused.
Chase Utley.
So he stole, I guess, say hypothetically 20 times, and he
Didn't get caught.
didn't get caught once. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know what the actual number is, but there you go.
Right. I just made up 20. Just because
Yeah.
I'm, a little stupid.
All right, so
but-
let's move on to the Sixers. They've won 4. They won 4 this week. One against the Trailblazers, the Bulls, the Pistons, and then the Bulls again. They're a little banged up right now, though. They have numerous players on the health and safety protocols list, which I'm not even sure I know what that means.
Right.
I mean, is that a COVID thing? Have they said?
I believe so. That's what I'd take.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, in so many words, what is it? 23 stolen bases without being picked off. Okay.
You were close with 20.
Yeah. That's around Utley numbers.
Right.
Stolen base numbers. So anyway, going back to the Sixers. Basically, Doc Rivers came out and said, Tobias is struggling with this. In so many words, COVID. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know why they won't just come out and say it.
Yeah, I don't really understand that either.
And now today, the same thing with Embiid, and basically saying that Embiid is symptomatic. I'm guessing Tobias, if he's not doing well, he's symptomatic as well. So, apparently both of these guys are really fighting through it right now. I don't know if they're fighting for their lives, but
Right.
both Tobias has been out the last couple games. Embiid is supposed to be out the next couple. He was supposed to rest tonight to play tomorrow against the reigning champion Bucks, but
They lost tonight for what it's worth, 103-96. Yeah.
that's not as bad as I thought it would be.
No, they got it close within the end.
Right, but they are missing guys like Thibault and Harris, and they've Danny Green came back tonight. He's been out the last couple weeks or so. So yeah, I mean it's definitely been a struggle. I was talking today to somebody. Imagine if they eventually all start playing together. They were on a 6-game winning streak before tonight. So imagine if they were all together.
Sorry. I'm reading the stats from tonight. Because obviously we didn't watch the game
Right.
because we're doing this. Drummond had 25 rebounds.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's a lot of fucking rebounds.
He set a record last week, I think, too. It was like the only player in history to have like 15 points, like 15 rebounds. Like it's I don't know
Yeah.
the exact numbers, but he like did something crazy, like it's never been done before.
Right.
But yeah, dude, he's a freak when he around the rim. So but just as a whole, I mean, the Sixers bench has been so much better than last year. You got Drummond and Thibault.
Dude, Niang's playing great.
Niang's been unbelievable.
Yeah, he has been.
So I mean that definitely helps if you can get that starting,
He hit,
rotation down.
Yeah, Niang had 15 points tonight. He's been really good.
Yeah, and I like that they. I don't know if they did it tonight. They started Paul Reed on Saturday against the Bulls. I like Niang still coming off the bench. You know, you're not relying on him too much. He knows his role, so
Reed only
I really like that.
Reed only had 4 minutes tonight, so no.
Okay, so then I guess he did. How many minutes did Niang have? I guess he had to have a lot, right?
24.
Okay. And I know, and I understand the whole idea where whoever gets the most points the most minutes is technically the starter.
Right.
But it does mean something to actually come off the bench, or not come off the bench, but start the game on the court. I mean, it does, but
Yeah, it does for sure. Yeah, I mean, Curry led the way with 40 minutes.
yeah.
14 points. I mean, with you big guys out, you like to see Curry maybe get a little more production, but it is what it is.
But he's that type of guy that's gonna put up points when your big time guys play. So
Yeah, that's true.
it's hard for him to be the guy.
Korkmaz was their highest scorer tonight, 19 points.
Okay, Korkmaz. Yeah, he. I mean, he has been. I've been nothing but a Korkmaz hater.
You have been.
I'll give him credit this year. I mean, he's really surprised me. He's been consistent. Like, my problem is that this whole city loves a guy who he'll have 2 big games and then he'll disappear for 10 games and then he'll have his 2 big games. And I understand that's like what shooters do, but like, look at any other kind of like off the bench 3-point shooters. They don't go through that as much.
Right.
So like, but this year, man, he's been very consistent and I've been very pleased with him. He's still that just 3-point guy, and that's what he's going to be, and he's going to be a liability on defense. But I can't complain right now. Him or Shake Milton, I've been very against those 2 guys in the last 2, 3, 4 years. So they've both been productive coming off the bench.
Yeah, it have been, and they're going to need to, especially because the whole lineup's banged up right now with his whole COVID thing. So
Right.
it's going to be a rough maybe week. Who knows how long? I mean, a week, 2, who knows?
Right. They said several games. I don't know if that exactly. I don't know if that means 3 games. I don't know if that means 3 weeks. So
Right.
And forget even the these guys stepping up with guys being out, with injury and COVID. Just even Ben Simmons' absence. Like, these guys are coming up big. So you like to see it. I'd really like them to kind of get better in the starting the starting roles, but and have these guys come off the bench. But
Right.
I'm not complaining right now. It's November.
Yeah. And then you did mention it, the whole Ben Simmons thing. It's the soap opera continues.
Of course it does.
They
the script
find
writes itself.
Right, it really does. The Sixers fined Ben Simmons his $360,000 game salary for missing Thursday's game and plan to resume fining him until he cooperates with team physicians on his mental health issues and fulfill other basketball-related obligations. And then I just saw something today that they're working on something with team doctors and physicians, so that might have gotten all worked out. Maybe we'll hear within the next couple of days, but there's no end to this, is there? It doesn't seem like there's going to be.
Well, did you see the news today
No.
that the Shams bomb that was set today that was placed very nicely?
I don't think so. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
So apparently the Boston Celtics have
Oh, you know what? I did see this.
interest in Ben Simmons. There have been no offers made. There were rumors that the Sixers, the only way the Sixers even consider that deal is if Jaylen Brown is a part of that deal. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
What can you tell me about Jaylen Brown?
Yes, immediately.
Okay. So
He is a-
one for
he's-
one swap? You're fine with that?
Well, I don't know if the Boston Celtics are fine with that, but
Right.
yeah. I mean, shit.
Is he a good player? Because I don't watch much of the NBA. Is that an upgrade?
So yes, because he averages 25.
Okay.
I think it's 25, 5 and 2, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. The guy's a pure scorer, like he's a shooter. I think he shoots 39% from 3, which is pretty decent. It's pretty good.
Okay.
I think that both guys fit well if that trade was made, but I don't know if the Celtics actually would make that deal because Jaylen Brown is a better overall player than Ben Simmons, in my opinion.
Right. Could you imagine Ben Simmons in the 76ers division?
Yeah.
That'd be wild.
It'll be just as good to kind of get that right because obviously the Celtics are the biggest Sixers rival since forever. But yeah, I think it would be pretty interesting. But like I'm saying, the problem the Celtics have right now is they have 2 guys who do the same thing, and that's always not a bad thing. But like they don't have a facilitator, they don't have a guy that that can just play shutdown defense. So I think it would really work for Boston. But like again, it's just pure talent. Like, would you give up? I don't know, a guy like. Would you give up like? I'm trying to think of hockey terms here. Would you give a guy up like Claude Giroux for? I don't know, like a third line center.
No.
Who
I don't think so.
who could potentially be a first line center
Oh, then sure, yeah.
or
Why
a
not?
second line center, let's say.
I guess. I don't know. It's.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe that's a bad analogy.
Yeah,
but like,
it doesn't seem like a good. It doesn't seem like a great analogy.
but like, although that Ben Simmons might fit better on that Boston team, I just don't know if they just. I just don't know if they just say, okay, but Jaylen Brown's a better player. So like, why would we make that deal? Like,
Right.
we could probably make a better deal. So, because I do think that there is some rocky. There's a rocky relationship there with Boston and Jaylen Brown right now.
Really?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So I guess where there's smoke, there's fire. Maybe who knows?
for sure.
So, all right. I got nothing Sixers related. You move on to the Flyers.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so they did. Let me pull up my notes here. Hold on, where the fuck did they go? All right, so Tuesday they played the Coyotes, 3-0 win. Thursday in Pittsburgh, they lose in overtime. Would have liked to grab a win there with a depleted Penguins lineup, and then they have a really nice win on Saturday against a good Capitals team.
Right.
They've been lately a little inconsistent for me. The Farabee's kind of. I don't know if I want to use the word regress, but he's cooled down a bit.
For sure.
And then like going back to the Coyotes game, they went 3-0. It looks good, shutout win. For 2 periods, the Coyotes made them sweat, which they're the worst team in the league.
Right.
So that wasn't great to see. But I mean, I guess you're playing down your competition. The Coyotes were winless. They did pick up a win since, but they were winless at the time. So you had a hungry team, so maybe that kind of has something to do with it, but I don't know. We'd like to see
sure.
more.
Okay, so I think that second line, the Brassard, Atkinson, Farabee line. Now I didn't watch much of the Flyers this week. I just had a crazy week, but it does kind of seem like they are slowing down a bit. Let me ask you this question though. Let's look at it like a roller coaster, right? They started off high, right? And now they're kind of coming down a little bit. What if Hayes comes back, or I'm sorry, what if they start to go up again, right? And Hayes comes back and he moves to the third line, and then they start to come back down. Do you let them try to come back up again, or do you move Hayes right back to the second line? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I would move Hayes to the second line.
Okay.
If they start going back down again, yeah, I don't want it to snowball.
Okay, I agree with that.
And I don't like the bigger loss honestly has just been Ryan Ellis. Like I'm a little concerned that Ryan Ellis hasn't gotten back to the lineup yet. Like at first I said day to day, and then he's been out for like 2 weeks.
Now it's like week to week, yeah.
Yeah. And they're still not sure if he's going to play on Wednesday against Toronto. That's concerning because when he's in the line, he's been steady. He's kind of made everything, really, really good. When you pair him with Ivan Provorov, who Provorov has been playing great this year.
Right.
I really like what I've seen out of Provorov. But when you have Ellis up on the top line, you could allow Braun to play in a third line role instead of a top line role. And it kind of makes the whole thing work. So I'm really concerned with Ryan Ellis, and he's had an injury history in the past, and his day-to-day injuries turned into week-to-week, and
Right.
it's just concerning to me.
He's not 25 anymore.
No.
And that definitely hurts a player. It does. The older they get, the harder it is to recover. But yeah, he's been from the little that we saw him, he's been very good with Provorov, and like you pointed out, Provorov has been very, very good this year.
Has only been on the ice for 1 goal against on 5-on-5 so far
Right.
this year.
And that came recently, right?
Yeah, against the Penguins, and it was a fluky goal. Like
Right.
I think it was a weird bounce or something.
Right.
But yeah, so.
But and I do look at it like this, like, okay, they did hit a little bit of a slow patch against Phoenix. Obviously, they had the big third period. Then you kind of saw it roll into the Pittsburgh game, and I only watched most of I would say halfway through the third period on in the Washington game. But you do like to see them get a big 2 points against an Eastern Conference team. So I think that's something to say. You know what I'm saying? They end the work week, in a positive light. So
yeah, they did. But like to the Pittsburgh game, I mean, Pittsburgh's missing Crosby. They're missing Malkin. They're missing a couple other bodies. Like, yeah, the Flyers are hurt too, and I get that. But the Pittsburgh team is just so depleted to play that poorly for 2.5 periods, whatever it was. It's a little concerning.
Yeah.
Granted, it's one game, but and Carter Hart played very, very, very well, and the goaltending duo as a whole has been great.
Yeah.
Carter Hart is 3-2-2 with a 2.41 goals against average, 926 save percentage.
Right.
He's kind of back. I mean, is it too early to say he's back?
Right.
Like it's only been a couple weeks, but I think the real surprise has been Martin Jones.
Yeah.
A lot of people were skeptical with the signing in the offseason because he's been really bad the last 4 years. But he's 3-0 with a 167 goals against average and a 950 save percentage. I mean, he's been spectacular.
Yeah,
in net.
And I think you and I were a little concerned. I don't think we were like burn the house down when they signed him.
Like a lot of people were. I wasn't that way.
No, for sure. I mean, we were both. I think the right word was we were both curious.
Yeah, like. My point was always, like, yeah, people hated Martin Jones, but, like, who else was there? Unless you go, I mean,
Holtby.
Yeah, but, like, Holtby also, like Martin Jones, has been really bad the last few years.
Streaky, yeah.
I mean, you could have went out inside of Bernier or an Allmark, but those guys both got, paid that money the Flyers just didn't have.
And they're going to play a lot, too. Like,
right.
Bernier and Allmark. But, like, and you needed a guy that can start every 5 games,
right?
Or every fourth game. So, yeah, he's been a pleasant surprise, definitely. And I think and again, I didn't watch any of the Phoenix game or the Arizona game, but I did watch the first period against Pittsburgh, and it just kind of seemed like they kind of came off like flat, like they just weren't ready to go out there. And I'm guessing that's how it was in the Arizona game because they didn't score until the third period, right?
Right, yep.
So it just kind of seemed like they were a little flat.
Yeah, for sure, they were. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, they do have, Toronto in town on
Wednesday. Right.
So that'll be interesting to watch, because, I mean, Toronto's hit or miss this year so far. I mean, they've had a couple really good games and then a couple really bad games. So curious to see what that game's going to be. So.
For sure, and I'm definitely looking forward to diving back in because 2 weeks ago it was hard to watch the Western Conference or the Western Canada games.
I stayed up for most of them.
Right.
I stayed up for all the Edmonton game. I stayed up for the Calgary game, and then I fell asleep in like the first period of the Vancouver game.
Right. Yeah, we argued last week about time zones, or 2 weeks.
That's true. That's true. We did.
So,
we did. Yeah. Absolutely, we did.
And I didn't really get to watch much last week, so I'm hoping to kind of dive back into some Flyers hockey. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. So before we move on, I had a couple notes a little later, but I guess we could stick to hockey a little bit. And I don't know if anybody saw. I mean, I don't know how much our listenership, paid attention to the Chicago Blackhawks story from the 2010 playoffs. Well, obviously, they beat the Flyers in the Cup that year with the whole sexual assault cover-up, the Kyle Beach thing. And this whole story happened maybe like 2 weeks ago. We didn't cover it because I just wanted to get all the facts right and read everything before we talked about it. But the things that happened, I did read the report. It's fucking brutal. I'll just say that. It's graphic. So I mean, if anybody does want to read it, just know it does get graphic. And just what that organization did to cover up the assault is despicable to me. I mean, the fact that they just said, hey, we'd rather not have a distraction and win the Stanley Cup and we'll worry about it later. And they ended up not really worrying about it later, which is probably even the worst part. But it's just the whole thing around is just gross.
Yeah, and it happens in sports. It's very, very real, where these not just I guess as of right now there are allegations, right? Or is it? Did okay? Enlighten me a little bit here.
Okay.
Educate me a little bit here. Did this video coach was there another allegation that got him in trouble originally?
So I'm trying to think of the timeline here. So basically, Kyle Beach, who was the one that got assaulted from the Blackhawks.
Can we kind of like tell like let's because I do know for a fact there are probably some listeners that don't know the story, and I think it'd be nice to kind of shed light on it a little bit here.
Sure. So Kyle Beach was in. I don't remember if he was in college or if he was in juniors, but he was a minor league player. He got called up to the playoff team.
He was a first-round pick too, right?
Yeah, he was. He was 11th overall pick. He got called up to the team to be a black ace, which a black ace is pretty much a collection of players that play. That pretty much just practice with the team. If a list of injuries happen, maybe they'll get playing time. Very unlikely. But then a video coach ended up sexually assaulting him in I think it was at a hotel room. And then Kyle Beach went to, I don't remember if he went to, I think he went somebody in management. They said, all right, we're handling it. They went up to whoever their boss was. There was a meeting that took place. They pretty much, Joel Quenville, who, as of last week or 2 weeks ago, coached the Panthers, who was the coach of the Blackhawks at the time, pretty much said, like, we can't deal with this distraction right now. We have to beat, who are they playing? I think it was San Jose. We have a series against San Jose we have to worry about. We're trying to win the cup. This team doesn't need any distractions right now. And in that meeting, they pretty much said, all right, we're not going to say anything. And then from my understanding, about maybe 3 to 4 days after they win the cup, they pretty much, I don't know if they relieved him of his they relieved him of his duties, but I don't think they have necessarily fired him. Nothing came out about a sexual assault. Joel Quenville ended up writing a letter of what the fuck? No, it wasn't a resignation. What the fuck's the word I'm looking for? So the guy Brad Aldrich, who's a video coach, ended up getting a job with high school
Recommendation.
Recommendation, yeah. I thought you said resignation. Sorry,
No.
Yeah, letter of recommendation. Sorry, okay, there you go. To a school in Michigan somewhere, and then that guy and Brad Aldrich, the video coach, ended up assaulting a student at that school, and that's I'm pretty sure what he ended up getting convicted for at that point.
Right.
So
that's what I thought. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So he ended up. I think he actually ended up serving jail time for that.
Right.
So that he ended up getting caught, and then there was a whole investigation that came out when this whole thing with the Blackhawks happened, and then the investigation, just got released 2 weeks ago, and that's what this whole blow up was.
Now there are 2 allegations against him, right? One is Kyle Beach, who came out as Black Ace 1. That was his
right. Yeah.
That was his alter ego, or not alter ego, but his non. I don't even know what the
right. And then
word is.
I think Black Ace 2 was the student.
I thought it was John Doe.
I'm sorry. It was John Doe, which I'm pretty sure is the guy that he got convicted for at the other school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
They were just saying what the report found or whatever.
Right. And okay. So, all right. But we don't know his name.
Correct.
Still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. No, I mean it's absolutely crazy that like this goes on in real life, like not just sports, but it also does happen in sports, and like whether you're a male or female, like it happens. You know what I'm saying? And, like,
and this probably like just scratches the surface. Like this.
Right.
Wouldn't shock me if this has happened, whether it's the NHL, NFL. Like it happens in the major sports.
Absolutely. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
And it's sports are a macho thing, and we're always taught as young athletes that we have to do certain things and in order to get by, and anything in life. You know what I'm saying? But especially sports. To man up and get through things, and in this instant, sometimes that is valid, but like not in this situation.
For sure, and I've seen a lot of stuff of like, well, he's a 6'3", whatever. Why, how is he gonna let that happen to him? But like the power dynamic is different. Where like the video coach, the video coach said, if you tell anybody about this or you don't do what I say, I'm gonna make sure you never play in the NHL again. And you're a first round pick. You've worked your life for it. It's an unfortunate spot to be put in.
How old? You know what I mean?
He
doesn't
was
know
20,
any better.
I think. Yeah.
20 years old. Whether you're 6'3", 6'8", 7'5", it doesn't matter how big you are.
Yeah.
I mean, you still got your brain is still developing, so you don't know better. It's just really a shame all the way around. I mean, honestly, it even stems to like the mental illness. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like how in sports, I saw, not to get too much off topic, but like I saw Marcus Spears like ripping Lane Johnson and Who was the other player that just came out? In the NFL?
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Ripping Calvin Ridley and Lane Johnson for mental health issues. Oh, well, when I played, blah, blah, blah. But you were the same guy, and I saw this on Twitter. I'm going to give whoever sent their credit on Twitter.
The Junior Seau thing?
Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
This person, I quote tweeted this person, and basically they said, you're going to sit here and you're going to rip guys on national television, but 10 years ago you were crying your eyes out about how Junior Seau died, your friend died, and nobody came out and said anything.
Right.
Like, he didn't come out and say anything, and you never saw the signs and this, that, and the other. But now you have guys like Lane Johnson and Calvin Ridley. You have guys like Kyle Beach who are coming out and saying this is a problem, and like, I think we all need to support. We all need to support them.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that they're, big time macho sports players who make millions of dollars. Like.
Right. Now I don't want to speculate, but like maybe if a Seau does come out like a Ridley or a Lane Johnson, maybe that's one less life taken. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And sports, there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of injury and there's a lot more than just going out there and on the ice and playing. There's a lot more than just going out there on the field and playing. And
right.
I think we should help people with mental illness, not
tear them down. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I know we usually like to keep things light, so this has been a dark episode for sure.
For sure. You want to get even darker real quick?
Sure.
I got 2 crazy ass Eagle stats.
Okay, I like it.
It's about to get darker. Trust me.
All right, fair enough.
So I didn't get to say these during the Eagles talk really quick. So Justin Herbert is the 5th quarterback to complete 80+% of his passes against the Eagles this season. Between 1950 and 2020, Eagles have allowed just 6 quarterbacks to complete 80+% of their throws, minimum 25 attempts. So essentially, there have been 5 quarterbacks this year that have completed 80+% of their passes.
Yep.
Where between 1950 and 2020, the Eagles have only faced 6 quarterbacks that have done that.
Are you kidding me?
I'm dead serious.
All right, we have gotten dark.
We're about to get even darker.
Get even darker, Dom. I like it.
This Eagles defense, facing Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Derek Carr, and Justin Herbert, have only forced 28 completions in those 5 games.
So I've only forced 28 incompletions?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you said completions. I got confused.
Incompletions.
28 completions in how many games is that? 8?
5.
7? 5?
So against Dak Prescott,
Right.
Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Derek Carr, Herbert, they've only forced 28 incompletions.
Yeah, it's bad.
I mean, you're going up against Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. I get it.
Yeah,
But,
well,
like,
Mahomes hasn't
28.
been Mahomes hasn't been good at all. Carr, historically hasn't been that great. I know he's having a bounce back year. And
No, it's still crazy.
It is. That's not good. Well, now we got dark, and before we do get out of here, I did want to make one note. We haven't talked Phillies in a while.
Right.
So did you see the nominations today?
Yes.
The finalists. So Zach Wheeler, Corbin Burns, and Max Scherzer are finalists for the NL Cy Young. Bryce Harper, Fernando Tatis Jr., Juan Soto are the finalists for the MVP.
Yes.
So
I think we know where the MVP deserves to go.
My guess is Corbin Burns wins the Cy Young and Bryce Harper wins the MVP.
I think it's Scherzer and.
Do you think it's Scherzer?
Harper.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you all again another Phillies nugget? They have declined Odubel and McCutcheon's.
Yep. I did see that.
What's it called? Help me out here.
Options.
Yes. I think.
Thank God.
I think Odubel still has.
A player option, maybe.
Yeah. No. Arbitration.
No, get him. See ya.
No, I'm just saying.
Goodbye.
I'm just saying.
I swear to God, if Odubel's on this roster next year, I'm going
don't think
to
he will
lose
be,
my
but-
fucking mind.
No, I don't think he will be, but I'm just saying. I think he's still eligible for arbitration.
I mean, no, you can't do it.
No, I agree. I'm just
You
saying.
can't do it. So
But that is some good news.
that is. And then one last thing before we get out of here. Did you see what the Phillies announced today? Hold on, I want to get your take on this. The Phillies announced
don't
that
think
The Phillies announced that home games will start at 6:45 this season for Monday through Thursday night games in April, May, and September. So they'll start at 6:45.
April, May, and September. Why April, May, and September?
I don't know.
Why not just the whole season?
It's a great question.
I think Arizona does that, but they
Really?
do it all year. They do it all year. They start at like 6:35. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, their time.
Right. It's weird. It's odd. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but that's what the Phillies announced. So I
Okay.
don't know.
All right. Let's roll with it. I guess.
I guess.
Sure.
It's a little weird.
Maybe they're just trying to. I don't know what they're trying to do. Maybe they're just trying to.
School hours to make games more kid friendly. You know how you make the game more kid friendly? Don't start World Series games at fucking 9 o'clock.
Right. Maybe they should just play day games anymore, like
Why
how
not?
they used to in like the 80s and the 70s and the 60s. Right? Is that
Right.
that's at least the Cubs? I think were the last team in the.
Well, they
80s
didn't have
to
lights.
change. Right.
I don't think they had
Right.
lights at the.
Maybe we should
at
just take the
regular-
lights away.
Why
Just take
not?
the lights away.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm all for that. You know, Dom, you bring up great points.
That's what I'm here for. That's what I get paid for.
Exactly.
Even though I
so
don't, we don't get paid, but
We don't. But
or maybe we do. Who knows?
maybe we do. We teased
we're
it last
not-
week. We teased it last week about a sponsor that's not ready to go. Hopefully, we got that next
Right.
week. We'll
We're not.
see
We're
what
not.
happens
We're not in
there,
the
but-
business to give out secrets here.
No, we're not. No, we're not. So, you got anything you want to say? Get off your chest before we get out of here.
I got a lot to get off my chest, but I don't think we have the time.
I don't think so. We've already gone over an hour 20, so
Right.
we'll call it a week. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube at Phired Up Podcast. Listen anywhere you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Yeah, we'll see you guys next Monday.